How to withdraw from interactive brokers. The first thing is to log into the app or the web platform. In this case, I'm on the web platform, and here we're going to go to the top where it says transfer and pay. And here we click on where it says transfer funds. Once we're here, we're going to choose where it says withdraw funds, this option that appears over here, and we click select. Now, once we click on this option, the withdrawal methods I already have saved will appear here. But if this is your first time withdrawing, then you need to click on use a new withdrawal method. Once we're here, now we need to make sure which currency we have deposited in interactive brokers. That is, do we have our balance in dollars, in euros, in Mexican pesos, or in some other currency? Depending on the currency, different withdrawal methods will be enabled for us, like the ones that are appearing here directly. To find out which currencies we currently have available, you simply go to your portfolio and scroll down to where it clearly says cash holdings. And right there, it will show you exactly how much money you have available and in which specific currencies. In this case, it shows up in dollars, and I only have $29 available. Now, if we had more money in other currencies and we want to withdraw it in dollars, we have this option here that says convert all to dollars. And well, it's up to you whether you want to do it or not. Now, once we've checked which currency we have, let's go back here, transfer funds again. And here we click on withdraw funds on the right side. Then here, use a new withdrawal method. And now we're here where the withdrawal options appear. So simply depending on the currency we want to withdraw, for example, euros, the withdrawal methods for that currency will appear. In this particular case, as we can clearly see, it would be United States dollars. And once we are here, now let us carefully look at the available withdrawal methods. The very first one is through a bank transfer. And in fact, here it explicitly shows us that commissions are indeed important when withdrawing funds. It states that generally for this specific withdrawal method, the fee is exactly $10. But there is something else important to keep in mind, which is that depending on precisely where you are located, your bank might charge you an additional, perhaps unexpected fee. We can't truly know this for sure unless we specifically ask our bank. So you really need to ask your bank directly what exact fees they charge for receiving, in some specific cases, international transfers. Although if you have an account in the United States, in this case, there would basically be no such fee, but still you need to check and make sure. Now let's move on to the next one, which is connecting your bank with ACH. This method is exclusively for banks in the United States. If you have an account with a bank in the United States, you can do this, but you need to make sure that your bank can process ACH withdrawals, in other words, that it can receive ACH deposits in order to use it this way. Now, let's go back to the previous one to see how this bank transfer is actually done. We're going to use this method, so let's click here, and all we have to do is choose where we're going to send the money. So it asks which entity the money will be deposited to, either a bank or an institution that isn't a bank but is still a financial institution. So we could choose that option. And here we will have to select the country where that institution is located. So we could choose, for example, Albania, Algeria, Colombia, Argentina, well, any of these countries that are available here. Here you would select where your bank is located. In this case, well, for me, it would be a bank. And here, again, we would have to choose where this transfer is going to go. This bank-wire option is mainly for international transfers. If you already have an account in the United States, honestly, I don't recommend this method because, as I mentioned, they charge you $10 here. It doesn't make sense to transfer to another country if you already have a US account, unless you really need to. Then let's say we pick a country at random here, for example, Colombia, and here we would have to enter our account number. Then we will have to enter or confirm our account number again. And after that, we would need to look up this SWIFT or BIC code. So all you have to do is enter your number or the name of your bank and search for it on the internet. So for example, I'm going to open a new tab, and one of the main banks in Colombia is Bancolombia. So I search for Bancolombia Swift, and look, it shows me that the code is this one here. So I just copy it and paste it here, and it automatically detects it and shows that it's this bank here. So in your case, regardless of the country you're in, just search here, replace this bank name with any bank name from your country, add Swift, and the code will show up for you. And if it doesn't show up, then you have to call your bank's customer service directly and ask them what the Swift code is. And once we actually enter it here, it then asks us which is our designated intermediary bank. What typically happens is that in some specific cases, the money is first securely sent to this intermediary bank, and then subsequently this bank sends it directly to our primary bank, the one we've carefully selected here, but in this case there isn't one. So this isn't necessary. Here, we wouldn't select anything. Next, we have to indicate whether our bank actually receives transfers in dollars or not. In this case, it does receive them, but if it didn't, you would select no here. And then this is where you can add a nickname or username for your account so you can remember it for future withdrawals. So you just add it there. And once you have this set up, in the next step, you simply decide how much you want to withdraw. Here, of course, you will need to enter your account number and then repeat it so that it allows you to proceed. Following that, you just make the withdrawal and then wait a few days, usually up to 3 days to receive the funds in your account. Now, let's move on to the next method. Let's click on transfer funds again. Let's leave this one. Like I said, this is mainly for if you don't have a local account in the currency you want to withdraw. That is, for example, if you're going to withdraw in euros, then don't use this option here. If you already have an account in Europe and you're going to withdraw to a European account, then it's better to use this one. The same applies to practically all currencies. In this case, with US dollars, it's the same. This is primarily for international transfers, but for local transfers within the United States, you would typically use this particular one. And this one says that we get 1 withdrawal per month completely free, but after that, they charge us $1 per withdrawal. So that's something to keep in mind. Now let's use this method. Here it tells us that we need to make sure we have a US account in order to make this withdrawal. We say yes. Here it asks us what type of account we have. So in this case, we select this one or savings. This really depends on you and the type of account you have. Next, the routing number, and this will automatically identify the bank. So here you can enter, for example, the country of the bank. So here we have Puerto Rico, United States, so Puerto Rico. And here you need to enter the bank. For example, I use one called Lead Bank. And here you would need to enter the city or state. So here we click search and then the different lead bank options appear. So for example, this one here, and then here you would need to enter the account number and confirm the account number. Now here in Connect Bank Account, what it will actually do is redirect us to the lead bank page, and you will need to have your lead bank credentials readily available to log in and connect the account. But what exactly happens? There are people who, for example, open accounts in these types of banks using alternatives. So nowadays it's very popular to open accounts in crypto assets, in stable coins. So you open an account in stable coins, and let's say that account isn't directly with Leadbank, but rather through a third party that offers you that account. In that case, you won't be able to do it because you don't have a direct account with the bank, but rather you have it through a third party. So you wouldn't be able to use this method. But if you're in the United States and you have one of the banks listed here, you can simply look it up, for example, Citi. All right, let's look it up there. So if you have the login details, for example, for Citibank or Bank of America or any bank you have that's listed here, then you can connect it. And that's the simplest and easiest way to withdraw. Now let's move on to the next method. And the next method here is transferring the money to Wise. And again, this particular method gives us a completely free withdrawal, but from that point, they will indeed charge us a fee. Here, it explicitly states it. Doesn't precisely tell us how much, but we would have to go directly to utilize the method and thoroughly test how much they would actually charge us. For this, we need a platform called Wise, which is this one here. You have to create an account to be able to receive the money here, and you simply connect it. In this case, for example, I have this one here. These are the details of my Wise account, and I can simply make the withdrawal, but there's one thing to keep in mind. If this information doesn't appear for you, it's because you haven't connected it yet. You'll see something like Connect Wise account, and all you have to do is enter your email and password for this platform. I'll leave the link in the video description. And from there, it will connect to your account. Remember that in Wise, you have balances, so you can have a balance there. In fact, I'm going to log into my account to show you. Look, I'm already inside, and literally what would happen is that the money would be deposited into our dollar balance. Here, I have this balance in dollars, look, 39,180. And here, if you notice, the account number says 39,180. So what Wise basically does is give you something like a dollar account so you can deposit there. So you just deposit there, save the information, and that's it. Let's say in this case, we're going to click Save Bank Information and move on to the next step so it allows us to make the withdrawal. Let's wait a moment. And here it says that our information needs to be confirmed. So this information here, censored as it's personal, I must confirm. To confirm, I simply scroll down and enter the exact name from the left, copy and paste it here. Once confirmed, I click continue and my account details will be confirmed, which are my Wise account details. So we wait here just a moment. At this point, you should receive a notification on your phone where you need to confirm that you are trying to register a new account, and you simply wait. We wait a few seconds, and here it already says that my information has been fully loaded. So now I can go here where it says create transfer, and in create transfer, it shows me how much I have available to withdraw. So in this case, I'm going to enter those $29. And what I do is create the withdrawal. And once I do that, the fees they charge me will be applied. But remember that with Wise, let's say I can have the balance here, but then I have to withdraw it from Wise. So I would have to click here where it says send and then choose a new person to send the money to. and here select what I'm going to transfer. In this case, it's dollars, and here I can send it to a bank, for example, and I have to choose whether it's to myself, to another person, to a business, let's say to myself. So here my details appear, and I can choose whether I want to send to the other account via ACH or via wire. So once again, the very same thing happens over and over again, which is that with Wise, if I want to have the money in my bank account, I have to withdraw it once again. So that's why Wise is a good alternative if you're going to spend the money within Wise and make transfers, let's say, to people within Wise. But if not, then it's basically the same as withdrawing to this bank wire option, which is exactly what we saw earlier, and it operates in a very similar way. This first option that appeared here, let me add it here. This one here is basically the same. So, well, it really depends on you. Next, this direct debit option is quite similar to the one mentioned above, which is the ACH option, because we are going to authorize an automatic debit. So what this truly means is that automatically from Interactive Brokers, we simply state that we authorize the financial institution we have in this specific case, a bank located in the United States, to withdraw funds. So you need to check this directly with your bank in the United States to see if they offer the option to request a withdrawal from Interactive Brokers. This option is good because you don't even have to log in to Interactive Brokers. Instead, from your own bank, you request the withdrawal and Interactive Brokers automatically sends the money to your bank account. So, well, this is one of the last methods, but out of all of them, honestly, this is the one I recommend the most. If you're withdrawing dollars and you have an account in the United States, it's clearly the simplest, the easiest, the most straightforward to use, literally. By the way, one thing I didn't mention, this option also works for withdrawing money to a bank account in the United States. I mean, actually, this one is also really good, and in fact, it's practically the same as the previous ACH method in case you can't withdraw via ACH because you don't have credentials with an official US bank. You can also withdraw directly to a bank in the United States, it's just that this method usually takes a bit longer compared to the ACH option. The ACH transfer is practically next day, while this one can take 3 to 5 business days if you also have an account in the United States. And as we saw earlier, the first withdrawal is completely free, but after that, they may charge you $10. And this is per month. Remember that, because within a month, you can make that withdrawal for free. But if you've already made the withdrawal and want to make another one, you can just wait until the next month, so you won't be charged anything at all.